James Elder, iFL TV, in association with MTK Global. With me, I've got none other than the legend, the hitman himself, Ricky Hatton. Just witnessed Nathan Gorman in a points win over Dominic Akelade here in Crystal Palace on the Dovebox show. How do you assess Nathan Gorman's performance today?
I don't think he was blistering. I know there's more things to come from Nathan. But it's one of them fights before you move on to the next level, which I guess is English and British and stuff like that. You need one of them fights under your belt, don't you?
Like an acid test.
Yeah, he's learning one. I mean, he's gone from out of the journeyman level, into fighting people that are in title contention or fringe, British level. So I mean, he's needed one of them fights to under his belt before he can go on to the next level. But there's a lot more to come from him. It wasn't a bad performance, it wasn't a great performance, but it's a performance that he most definitely needed. He's had everything his own way in his career so far, and he got put under a little bit of pressure tonight, and I think he coped well with it.
He's had a massive, I think it's like over 80% KO ratio coming into this. He's hit Dominic a few times. Dominic's managed to stand there and withstand that. Mainly had to box a little bit and sort of think about his shots, work a lot more on the inside. So do you think that would be beneficial to him long term, the fact that he hasn't gone there and blown Dominic out?
Absolutely, but what we forget with Nathan is he only had 12 fights as an amateur. Do you know what I mean? And he already got in the Great Britain squad after, I think, 9 fights, you know what I mean? He's only 20 years old, he's only a babby, you know what I mean? And he's come straight out of the amateurs into the pros, and after 9 fights he's in the top 10, so... Yeah, I mean, and it's the same for everyone who comes through in the career. You have it all your own way, and then all of a sudden one of them fights comes along where you don't have it all your own way, and you learn from it and you move on. And I think there's more and a lot more to come from Nathan. You know what I mean? There's lots of stuff we can go back to the gym and work on, but it certainly wasn't a bad performance. I think he boxed well, showed his class. I think he needs to show a little bit more devilment, a little bit, but that'll come with time.
Heavyweight division's coming quite stacked, some good young fighters coming through. We've got Dave Allen in the changing room today, coincidentally. Do you see Dave Allen as a future opponent for Nathan Gorman?
Possible, yeah, because obviously I think Akelade was, I think in the top 10, I think he was 10, you know what I mean? So Nathan's broke into the top 10 now, so he's in contention for fights such as that. Dave's been down to our gym several times, sparred with Nathan. They've always been really, really good spars. And they've built a bit of a friendship up and that, but I mean, a business is business, and if the fight comes along, then I'm sure they'll get it on. It'll be a good fight, because Dave's boxed in a decent class, you know what I mean? It's probably a fight such as that is the next step for Nathan.
Kell Brook, Errol Spence, massive fight coming up for Kell Brook. Take on his mandatory to keep hold of that IBF world title that he's worked so hard to get. What chances do you give Kell of retaining that belt?
It's a tough fight, you know what I mean? It doesn't need me to tell Kell that. But the Kell's, it's a real tough fight. A real tough fight. He's going to have to dig deep. He's going to have to show his class, similar to like he did in the Golovkin fight. I think he's going to go one of them fight where he's going to have to bite down on the gun shield and come through the trenches. But I would give Kell maybe the slightest of edge, but only a slight one. But he's got to be up for it, which I'm sure he will. With fights such as Amir Khan not happening, or Mayweather and Pacquiao, and the big names which I'm sure he wanted. He won his title and then made a few defences, and then you want to challenge yourself against the best, and the best and them names haven't come along yet. But many people will know of Spence. He can fight. This is a tough one for Kell, and hopefully he'll do the business here.
Do you think Kell Brook will get the credit he deserves if he beats Errol Spence?
I don't think.
Errol Spence a bit of a hype job.
Yeah, I think Kell unfortunately is on an hide into nothing. In the boxing fraternity, we know what a good fighter Spence is, but not many, unless you know your stuff, not many people would have heard of him if no disrespect. So he's on a bit of a good hiding to now. But
he's probably more heard of being Kell's mandatory in the UK than he's fighting.
Yeah. So he needs to, in order to hold on to his title, he needs to fight it. But the way he's got to look at it, he's fighting Spence, you know what I mean, and use the big names that haven't come along as his incentive to get through Spence, I guess.
Ricky, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Floyd Mayweather potentially facing CONOR McGREGor. We've heard all kinds of rumours. You've shared the ring with Floyd. You've been around in Big Fight Week. Do you feel that that's a logical fight, and if it will happen, we can see it happening?
I'm a big McGregor fan, so I don't want to. He's a real character. He's good for the sport. You know what I mean? But whenever boxers go into the UFC or the mixed martial arts, they always do badly. You know what I mean? And I have no disrespect. I mean, I see it being there. Canelo couldn't hit. Mayweather. I can't see how Conor's going to do it, and I say that with love, you know what I mean, because I'm a Conor McGregor fan. It's two totally different sports, and I think Mayweather would win by an absolute shutout, you know, to be honest with you. I mean, I struggled nailing him, you know, Canelo struggled nailing him, De La Hoya struggled nailing him. No disrespect, I can't see Conor doing it.
Conor has said he's managed to transcend sport, so do you think it's good for boxing, the fact that two superstars from different regimes, different backgrounds are going to fight?
I think it could be good for boxing, but it might not be great for the UFC. You know, if he's the biggest name in the UFC, and if Floyd was to stand him on his head, again, no disrespect to Conor, it wouldn't look good on the UFC. I don't think, personally. You know, Mayweather is an absolute class act, and when you look at some of the people that beat him, I mean, Conor can punch and he is good with his fists, but it's a different game. It is, you know what I mean.
On that note, Ricky Hatton, thank you very much. Before we go, sorry, I do want to just talk about Zanat. It's easy a little bit. You're world champion. How is he, and what's been going on?
Well, he's back in Kazakhstan. He went back to a hero's welcome, very much, you know, deserved. You know, he's having a little bit of a rest. I mean, I promoted him, and then I wanted to renew his contract after the fight, after getting him to the world title, and they wouldn't let me redo it. So I'm a little bit. As far as negotiating his next fight, I'm out of the picture now, to be honest, which I'm a little bit disgusted in, because I invested to get him there, and then when I watch him renew him, you know, his manager won't let me. So I mean, well, that's why he's me, you know, he's my mate, you know. I train him, you get very close to him. He's been with me from day one, so I'll continue to train him. But I just think that's the part of boxing that upsets you sometimes. You know.
The pitfalls of boxing, absolutely. Sometimes that people don't see.
Absolutely, you know what I mean. I invested in, you know. From what my knowledge of the professional boxing is, you invest in a fighter to get him up to world level, and then hopefully you might get a bit back then. And I've not had the opportunity, so I'm a little bit disgusted. But you know, there's so many great fights out there, you know, that can be made. Paul Butler, Jamie McDonald, you know, Ryan Burnett, people like that. And I honestly don't think his team will go for him, because they want to do, you know, he's without Heyman now, I think, you know, so it's a shame really, but I'll be there for him whoever he fights, you know, because I'm his trainer, but you know, it's a shame for the promoting point of view.
Thank you very much for joining
Pleasure, Jamie.
Always a great pleasure to you on the channel, mate.
See you, Paul.
And congratulations to you and the team for making us win today. Cheers, Rick.